For centuries, thousands of indigenous artifacts have been removed from their ancestral homes across Turtle Island and held in foreign collections. But now, with a Sunday press conference on a flight between Hungary and Italy, Pope Francis has given an unexpected hint that the Vatican will return these artifacts to their rightful homes. If carried out, this gesture would be a huge step in the continued journey of reconciliation between indigenous peoples and global leaders. Adam Olsen, MLA for Saanich North and a citizen of the Tsartlip First Nation, welcomed the sign that the Roman Catholic Church is trying to make amends. He notes that these objects are more than just artifacts, they're intricate and well-crafted pieces of work that speak to the rich heritage and history of indigenous culture. At the heart of the issue is how these artifacts wound up in museums and collections around the world in the first place. In 1925, former Pope Pius XI established the Anima Mundi Ethnological Museum in an effort to celebrate the Church's global reach and its missionaries. Canada's federal government contributed to the museum's collection by rooting out and confiscating artifacts from communities in every corner of the country. Further damage was done when Native American cultural practices were outlawed through the Indian Act in 1876 and the potlatch ban in 1885. All these actions created a market for stolen indigenous artifacts and artifacts taken under false pretenses. The Anima Mundi Ethnological Museum now contains tens of thousands of indigenous artifacts from around the world. But the global repatriation movement is gaining momentum, and the Pope's recent statement signals an important shift in global attitudes. Last spring, the Vatican welcomed First Nations, Métis, and Inuit delegates in an effort to build bridges between the two cultures. And, in response, the Pope's office announced that select indigenous artifacts had been returned to Ecuador. The Geneva Museum of Ethnography of Switzerland followed suit and returned a medicine mask and a turtle rattle to the Haudenosaunee a few months ago. Similarly, earlier this year, the Royal Bee Museum took a monumental step in the direction of decolonization by closing its third floor to begin re-examining its galleries. And, the Nisga'a Nation garnered international attention when it negotiated the return of a sacred totem pole from Scotland's National Museum, and the Jitsala Nation successfully arranged for the repatriation of a longhouse post from Harvard University's Peabody Museum. Now, all eyes are on the Vatican and other museums with indigenous artifacts on display to make a concerted, multinational effort to return stolen fine and ceremonial objects. However, both Kwakwaka'wakw artist, Luann Neal, and New Chanolth Tribal Council Vice President, Les Dwaran, agree that there's much work to be done, both to identify ownership and create a safe and secure environment to house these objects once they are returned. For years, indigenous peoples called out for the return of their stolen artifacts, and although there's still much to be done to make this dream a reality, Pope Francis' recent statement shows that he and religious leaders around the world are beginning to recognize the importance of this cause. We can only hope that the Pope's words mark the beginning of a global revolution that shifts museum policies, and a true and extended international effort to restore the culture and treasures stolen from indigenous peoples.